this is the thing that my mom taught me, is like, you always stand up, you never punch down. You always punch up.
The greatest Labor Day party in America. Rocklahoma 2025. You never know who you're going to run into backstage. Chuck and I have been back here with Rocklahoma Live and Mr. Tom Morello.
Hello. How's it going? Happy Labor Day to one and all.
You have been amazingly busy lately.
That's not false.
Chuck was there.
I was in Birmingham on July 5th.
At the beginning show, yeah.
Absolutely
Quite a day.
incredible.
Yeah.
And that's the, and we were going to talk about everything, but I thought you did such an incredible job, and I thought it was so very important for it to be done that way, and I thought you honored him in the best way you possibly could.
Well, thank you. It was a real labor of love. You know, heavy metal music is the music that made me love music. Yeah. And so Black Sabbath invented that.
Yep.
And then Ozzy Osbourne is the artist who brought Randy Rhoads to the world. And that was the poster that was on my wall when I was practicing 8 hours a day. I named my firstborn son Rhoads Morello in honor of Randy. And so I don't just owe like a musical and artistic debt to those guys. It's a real personal life debt. And so when Ozzy and Sharon asked me to, be the musical director and to curate that day, I took it very, very seriously. And the idea was to make it the greatest day in the history of heavy metal. And I think we did pretty well.
No, it's never been that good before.
Yeah.
And I think you set the bar that can never be attained again.
Yeah, well, I mean, with Ozzy's passing, I'd have to agree with you there. Yeah.
But I thought Chuck was calling me. We're texting each other while he was there. And I'm watching a video seconds after, Mama, I'm coming home. Sure. And I'm crying in Kansas City because I'm looking at this video.
I think there's a deep Ozzy track called "I'm Crying in Kansas City" that he didn't play that day. But maybe we should have tried to work that one in. But no, everybody was emotional. I was at the side bawling like a baby during Crazy Train. And
well, that was the best part, Tom. I think obviously you were such a big part of that event, but you were rocking out all day too. If you weren't playing on stage,
rocking out. We were there a week before for rehearsals. I was going crazy. Like the first time I saw like Jakey Lee play in 30 years, in rehearsal, we were losing our minds. There were so many moments. We tried to create, because it was an important day being their last show in their hometown. But like the idea that the artists that a number of the artists who had played with Ozzy through the years were there to show their love. A number of artists whose careers would not have existed, from Metallica to me to whoever, got to show their love by one, performing Ozzy and Sabbath songs, but by two, playing their own songs which have that DNA in them, for them on that day. Then the fans in their, Ozzy, from the front door of the stadium in Birmingham to the front door of the house Ozzy Osbourne grew up in is less than a 20-minute walk. Right? So like the people from the city, and then knowing that there's this global broadcast of millions of people watching, everyone getting to show them that there are four of them. They're alive. They're there. They know it. They recognize it. And then what I thought the greatest gift was for them to be able to show how much they love all of the above, And that was a really, really special day. It was really super emotional.
Yeah, it was amazing. And to me, the thing that I can't forget, I think about all the time, was on stage and off stage, fans and the bands. There was no ego. No band was trying to prove they were the biggest Sabbath fan, and there were no drunken incidents or anything like that in the crowd.
Well, let me tell you, one of the things that I didn't know what it was going to be like when assembling the cast for this was how that was going to go. These are some of the biggest bands in the world who are being asked to play, 15-minute sets or 20-minute sets, and then being strongly urged to play particular songs, And I have to say that the respect that was commanded by Black Sabbath and by Ozzy Osbourne and by that day, people were really cool, like really, really cool. I mean, there was one or two times over the course of a year where somebody was kind of wrestling over wanting to do the same cover song, but of the million things that could have gone wrong, it was like hardly anything.
I thought one of the most undervalued, not by you guys, but by the world, it didn't get a lot of attention, was Whitfield Crane. I thought Whit came out and just knocked it out of the park. He did great. Yeah. And he loves Ozzy.
Such a lovely person too. Yeah.
It was a beautiful day. I just wanted to make sure we started with that.
Sure.
It was so important, and you did such a great job because of your genuine love. Because he was a working class hero. You've always been a working class hero yourself.
Yeah, and for misfits, for people who feel on the outside of things, for working class kids, like Ozzy. I think one of the things that I hope that show cemented, because there's a lot of things that might come to mind to the casual person on the street when you think of Black Sabbath or Ozzy Osbourne. He bit the head off a bat. Right. Black Sabbath has some evil looking stuff on there, but like the musical importance and legacy of that band cannot be overstated. It's not the greatest metal band of all time. It's one of the greatest bands of all time. Right. And him is like a cultural icon. He invented reality TV. Sure. The Ozfest festival kept metal alive at a time when it was not thriving in a lot of other places. And then for them to be able to like really feel like the world's love, no one was thinking, oh, remember how evil Black Sabbath was? Oh, Ozzy bit the head of. No. They're like, this is a tremendously great art form. These are the people who began it, who founded it, and the acolytes, the branches on the tree with the roots are Black Sabbath. We're there to be able to sort of tip the cap and go, thank you very much. Yeah.
God, I just love, dude. You love meeting somebody who's Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, and you love music. I can only imagine, like when you were 14 years old.
Oh, dude, you don't even know. Yeah, you don't even know. Like I'm a huge fan. I was losing my mind at rehearsals at the side of the stage. Rock. No one, I guarantee, no one was rocking harder than me to like so to NIB when that came out. Like nobody. Just a real thrill. I got to be there like with my son and some of my family, and standing next to some of my musical heroes at the side of the stage, banging our heads one last time to War Pigs was pretty special.
Yeah, is amazing. And you hear artists talk about too, that was like Axl's first time meeting Ozzy. Oh, wow. And then all these bands running around, they haven't seen each other for years. Yeah. Seeing these guys talk and laugh and just catching up. It was it was a dream day.
Yeah. And for a genre that sometimes gets, painted by the outside world as being, dark or mean or like some negative adjectives get hung onto it. The amount, what that day was about and what that music and what that community about, it's love.
That's
100.
100%, man. Like that's like it is now undeniable. Like that's something else we put on the board on that day is that any misconceptions you might have had about that man, that band, those fans and then we raised $1 zillion for spectacular charities too,
and everybody played free and everybody we could literally do this all day because I just think it's so great. And then of course it's the greatest. I wish he was still here, but my God, you couldn't plan this. And then as the news cycle started to wane a little bit from that show, all of a sudden Ozzy passes and it just it hits so
and the
hard.
Resonance of that day is even that. So this is the last time I saw Ozzy. So we're the day is done. It's been great. Everyone's really like, people have been working on the show for very long. We're all hugging and crying, and the musicians are hugging and crying. So we go to the after party, and it's mellow. Like I'm playing pinball with my son, and like somebody's taps me on the shoulder. I'm in the middle of like a multi-ball. I'm like, get off me, and it's Jack Osbourne because his dad wants to say hi. I'm like, get off me, I'm busy over here. I got multi-ball going on Addams Family. Get off me. So anyway, I finished the game, and he's like, Ozzy would like say like, oh my gosh. First of all, Ozzy comes to the after party, which is crazy, right? Crazy. Yeah. And so I got to like one last time kiss his head, tell him I love him, thank him for a lifetime of music, and then he was, his reply was like, could you find Sharon? I want to get the fuck out of here. Which is the perfect.
That's it. That's the exit.
Coda to the.
But by the way, it's crazy. There's no Sabbath or Ozzy pinball machine.
Well, perhaps someone watching can
I didn't know you were a pin guy.
Oh, yeah.
I've got an AC/DC, a GNR, and
right on.
Yeah,
right
Chuck's.
on.
Chuck,
That's it, yeah.
I got the new Lord of the Rings one, and Fishtails is one.
Classic.
Attack from Mars is another thing.
Nice classic, man. We're gonna do just
fine.
We're fine. So, man, everything, because you think back through, starting with Rage, and then everything else, Prophets. So many incredible Audio Slave. Like, it's so prolific. And I sit here and I realize it's because it starts in the heart. It starts with love. It starts with a real honor of music and loving it more than anything and doing it because it's what you do.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, the one thing that, is a sort of an important tale to perhaps share with listeners is that the reason why I've made 22 records in my career, right? And the reason why I've been able to make any of those records is because of an abject failure. I was in a band before Rage Against the Machine that's signed to Geffen Records. And I was young. I was like 22, 23. And we did everything everybody asked. Like the record company had an idea. They wanted to make it a little bit softer. I had like sort of crazy guitar sounds. So like, no, there's none of that on the radio. So like, and I was like, okay, these are the experts. I mean, these are people who are counseling some of the biggest bands in the world right now. And they're making,
they wouldn't lead you astray.
They wouldn't lead me astray. They're making what sounds like, I mean, it sounds reasonable. It doesn't feel right, but it sounds like reasonable. So when we put out a record, 15 seconds later, we get dropped from the label. I'm 26, 27 years old. I got like like $600, in the bank account. And I realized I'm never going to be a rock star. I'm never going to make records. That dream is not one. I had my chance, my grab at the brass ring, and I failed. But I'm still a musician. And I remember sitting in my little Hollywood apartment, sitting on the little bench and thinking to myself, okay, that's done. So I made a solemn vow to myself to never play another note of music that I didn't believe in. And on that day, on that couch, I started writing the riffs for the first Rage Against the Machine record. And we're 22 records later, with that being the guiding light of everything. And that's,
And now,
draw what lessons from that you might.
well, and now 22 records later, and we've talked about this. I think a lot of people are excited about this. You're on the verge of releasing your first record under the name Tom
That's
Morello.
correct. Yeah, that's correct. So I'm making the first Tom Morello solo rock album. There's been Rage Records, Audio Slave, Prophets of Rage, Night Watchman Records, Atlas Underground Records, where there's been like me plus electronica, me plus folk music. This, over the course of the last 3 or 4 years, how I've been touring and what we'll be playing today is it's basically embracing an entire career. It's carrying the torch for those Rage Against the Machine riffs that I love and that the world needs right now. It's carrying the torch for the Audio Slave music. I miss Chris Cornell every day, and I want to be able to honor him and sort of share his memory communally with the crowds that we play with. It's honoring I have a diversity of things that I like. I love Woody Guthrie as much as I love Black Sabbath, and that music is a big part of who I am and what I do and playing that. So I wanted to make a record that was the totality of that. And so it's going to have the big, heavy Rage, Audio Slave, Morellian riffs. It's going to have sort of my Springsteen Darkness on the Edge of Town side of it as well. My son Roman, who will be playing with us today, is a big part of it. He's I'm now the rhythm guitar player in the family because I can't get a note in any ways now. Just in the dressing room right now, he's takes the guitar away and plays it.
How was it with your son? I mean, that's, we've seen it with Van Halen, with Wolfie. Which I was against at first, and then I saw it on stage, and I went, oh my God!
You just hold on to your hat, dude, because he's 14 years old and he's coming for fools.
That's so great.
Yeah, he's just the good thing is he has. I didn't start playing until I was 17 years old, so I don't know what it's like to
really.
17 years old.
That's super. I mean, it really is super late when you think about.
I've never heard of a guitar. There's only one guitar player I've ever heard of that made records that started playing later. You know who that is? Robert Johnson. And he had to sell his soul to the devil.
That's right, yeah.
I just had to practice my ass off, and I'm still working on it, But now my kid passed me up. So, so Roman's going to be involved in the record, and I've been touring with him the last couple of years. And to have, it's as a parent, it's a dream, but it's not nepotism when your kid's that fucking good. Heads hang out. Did you see during the Ozzy show, the Jack,
Mr. Crowley,
the Jack Black video?
Yeah, with
this
Jack
kid,
Black.
This kid, he was 13 at the time, and he's in the Randy Rhoads role. And that's a live take, by the way. That's take 5.
Oh,
that's
wow.
not like we went in the studio and reconfibulated everything. Yeah. Those are those kids playing that with Jack. Yeah.
So lyrically.
Yeah.
So now, if only the world had enough going on in it that you would be inspired.
Yeah. I mean, we're at a particularly dangerous time in history right now. And I just think that, from a musician's point of view, from an artist's point of view, the thing that we do, the music that we make, may in the not too distant future be censured and be erased, and the audiences may not have access to a variety of opinions in their music if we're headed the way that we're headed right now. And so I think it's more important than ever. The message, I made 22 records. You know what? They have one message: the world is not going to change itself. That's up to you. And that while that may seem daunting, the good news is whenever the world has changed for the better in ways that have helped humanity, in ways that have helped working class people, that have helped poor people, have helped people on the bottom rungs of the ladder, it's been changed by people no different than anyone in the audience today and no different than anyone watching this. They didn't have more intelligence, creativity, courage, money, influence, or whatever. It's people standing up in their place and time to make a more peaceful, a more just, and a more decent world.
Well, and we talk about the power of heavy metal, power of Sabbath and Ozzy, and how that's all love.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You bring it all together. And then I just can't think of, I just love thinking about your son being part of all this.
Yeah,
sure.
And truly passing this on.
Yeah, it's 100%. And he's,
does he feel the weight of that?
The craziest part is, no, he doesn't. First of all, it's weird when the first time we played a big festival show was maybe a couple summers ago. It was 60,000 people. He's like, Dad, I'm pretty nervous. I'm like, okay. Well, do you know how to play the songs? He's like, yeah. And he's like, are you pretty confident that the rest of us know how to play the songs? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, let's go play the songs. And from that day to this, that's how it is. But the cool thing is about him is he doesn't he's just a little kid. He just returns to school. He just like plays his video games, and he's on the football team, and he just goes right back into it. The guy who's like at drop off at the school is a huge Roman Morello, like security guy. He's like, "Your son's fucking awesome." I'm like, "Don't tell him. Like, don't tell him. Don't tell him, because he's just on his way to science right now."
Right.
If he blows it, if he ever makes a mistake, you bust his balls. What do? You just.
Let me tell you, one of us is more likely to make a
Right?
mistake than if I don't want to start playing that game with him, because he'll come back at me in a way that I might not be entirely comfortable with.
Dude, this festival, like this is really interesting.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how, speaking about the world and people's differences and people's different views in music and at festivals, it all goes away.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, music is a great uniter, and it's also something that I think that throughout my career I've been involved in genres of music that don't always have like sort of political content. One of the strengths I think of Rage Against the Machine is not that it's a great political band, it's a great fucking band.
Right.
And then you get with that, and then all of a sudden you're exposed to a palette of ideas that may not be in other bands that are aggressive like that or have whatever. And so that's a festival like this is, first of all, I love some of the other bands we were playing with. I saw on the bill. I checked out Slash's Sons, but London's band. Yeah. It was great. It was great. The young man playing the Star Spangled Banner was fantastic. So just to be part of it, first of all, I have a lot of love for Oklahoma because of Woody Guthrie. Like,
Right.
that's a
Downtown
huge.
here,
I was at the museum,
Yeah,
the Woody
the
Guthrie
Woody
Center.
Guthrie Center, right next to the Bob
yesterday.
Dylan Center,
Yep. And that he, in my view, is like the original punk rocker, and he is someone that lived his life by his own rules and always stood up for the common man in everything he did. He stood up for, here's the thing, is like, this is the thing that my mom taught me, is like, you always stand up, you never punch down. You always punch up. You always stand up for people that have less than you, people that are in more trouble than you. You stand up for people that are poorer than you. You stand up for immigrants. You stand up for people that don't have what you have. Do that whether you're a musician, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a journalist, whatever you are. That's the message that's in Woody's songs. That's the message I got from Mary Morello.
That's not politics. That's humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not politics. I don't care. I don't argue with anybody.
Yeah.
People want to use that word so they can divide you.
Yeah.
The truth is, it's human.
Yeah.
Look out for people. Somebody's weaker than you, you stand for them.
That's right.
It's just that simple.
Yeah. It's just that simple.
This is going to be the greatest day. I'm just so excited to
Yeah,
have you here.
I'm very excited too, man. Like Eddie Trunk's coming too. He's my boy.
Eddie's
and looking
great,
forward
man.
to that. And this is a festival. It's been going on for many years, right?
18
this
years,
is
yeah.
18th
18th year, right? So I've always sort of seen this festival from a distance, and I like the fact that it's I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's sort of like an open mind effect. Like you'll have Alice Cooper, and then you'll have Trickster, and then you'll have
right,
me, and you'll have
Tech Nine, a couple years ago, Tech.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And then you walk to the crowd in that carnival. Woo!
Yeah.
That's a sea of humanity.
I haven't done that yet.
That is a rich tapestry, my
rich
friend.
Well, we were walking around last night. We went to the minor league baseball game. We were walking around last night. There's a pretty rich tapestry all over.
Yeah,
that's
right.
But I'm really looking forward to with my band, the Freedom Fighter Orchestra. We've played in a lot of different venues and a lot of different things, and this is what I'm really looking forward to, because here's the thing, is like, I may not look stereotypically metal, I may not play stereotypically metal, but I'm as metal as any son of a bitch on that stage today, and I'm going to prove it.
I can't wait for that. Man.
By the way, last thing, best names for bands ever: Street Sweeper, Social Club,
Yeah.
Axis of Justice.
Yeah.
Like every time.
Yeah, that's a part of it too, like it's a pageantry. So
Tom Morello, thank you so much for hanging.
Thank you very much.
Rocklahoma
Happy to-
2025.
Right on. Thank you. Happy to be here.